Hello and welcome back to part 10 of this series. In this part I will show you more more common scripted actions you can do for like your interactive single player map. Let's start off. I opened up the properties of the player start and I just assign a new event called start, and let's place a scripted trigger right next to the player start. Open up the properties, wait for event, start, and the first thing I want to show you is the show objective trigger show objective trigger, which can be found in it's called show actor objective trigger, which is like the tiny circle with the arrow pointing to the direction, like for the next target. So click on new, and the easiest way to do that is if we place the path node in here on the outside of the room, it's selected, and we assign a tag to it, to the path node, objective 1. So it's I set the tag to objective 1 for the path node. As you can see, the apple changed the icon to like someone halfway eat it, someone halfway ate the apple. And back to our show actor objective trigger tracker. We can now set the actor tag to the path node, and that way when we spawn in, like on the bottom of your screen, the circle with the arrow will point to this location. And for example, when we can place a trigger here, when we reach this location, because I was going to change the radius. So when we reach this location, another event will trigger called end. Let's place another scripted trigger here. And again, wait for event end. And to remove the objective trigger, just like call the action show objective trigger, but don't supply any don't supply any properties or parameters. That way you can just remove it from your bottom of the screen. So when we spawn, it will point this location, and when we reach this location, it will vanish or gets deleted. There are more actions to it. For example, in the last video I showed that you can simply place your squad mates into the level and they will link up by default when you load up the level. This does not happen if you externally spawn them. For example, you want to play the map solo for a while, and then after a while you just want to spawn one of your squad mates and link up with them. Again, I just use a simple pawn factory. Place it here. Give it a tag called 40 spawn, and I will change the prototype to commando 40 delta, and adjust the parameters max alive, max and world capacity 1 because we only want one delta for O, and the rest can can be left by default. So yeah, wait for event. We wait for event called end. So whenever we reach this point, we will trigger the pawn factory, which will spawn delta 4O. And the next important step is after he spawned, there's an action called action change squad member, and this is important because like if you spawn them late into level, they don't link up with you. We have to do it manually. And one thing I forgot is there is a spawn, not spawn event. Where is it? I guess you can use it for all spawn. Be add member set to true, and that way he will be added to like the squad on your HUD. For example, if you want to remove one squad member, you would have to call the same action, change squad member, set the be add member to false, and after that you can call another action called what was it? Destroy actor or destroy pawn, and then you can destroy the delta you just removed, or you want to remove. I guess it's destroy actor. Yeah, destroy actor. Yeah, so you can. That's more or less important. Otherwise, they won't take over orders from you. Some other most or more common used actions are, for example, briefing, which is like it hides your weapon and limits your view FOV or your rotation angle. Typically, like when there's a mission briefing. Console command, yeah, that's fine. Change level is like as the name implies, you can just transition from one level to another, usually at the end of the level. Destroy actor to destroy things. Fade view is like if you want to turn your screen to a certain color when the mission fails. For example, at the last mission of Geonosis on the droid control ship, the screen fades to white and then the mission fails. This is like how it's done. Go to action or go to label, go to state as applies to any actor as in the previous video with the droid dispenser. Hurt actor is like if you want to change your like hurt in pawn on actor by general. You can also make yourself or make an actor invulnerable. Mover to keyframe is like if you want to move move an object, for example a ship or whatever, to a certain keyframe. Play animation, play sound, play music, everything self-explaining. Set collision, set hidden, like if you want to change certain map actors or map static meshes or whatever. And yeah, There's also show title card screen, where it's like this black window with the text being displayed on each start of each mission, like each planetary mission that Geonosis, Assault Ship, and Kashyyyk. Yeah, and so on. Teleport to point, teleports Nectar to a certain location. Wait for time is also very useful if you want to just wait a certain amount of time. Yeah, that's like more or less the most common used actions. So when we build up the map, if you see this error, as in previous videos, it complains about no path nodes for the AI, but for now, just a demonstration doesn't really matter. So save it. So as you can see, I have an objective tracker, and if I like look away from it, so it's like outside the viewport, you see at the bottom the arrow or the oval with the arrow pointing. So yeah, so and if you just walk in there, the objective trigger disappears, and my mate doesn't link up. Time to debug it. I think there was like a property to give a tag from the factory. Ah yeah, so pawn tag from factory, that's what I'm looking for. In this case I just call it 4.0 and change this to 4.0. So just made a mistake. So when the Delta 4.0 spawns, it will get this custom tag assigned, pawn tag from factory, and then we can use it in conjunction with with the change squad members. Oh, no, I messed up the trigger event. What was it? For spawn. So test it. No, still doesn't want to link up. Why is it? Maybe. I'm not sure, but maybe you have to wait a little bit. Let's set the wait timer 1 second. And then we use the change squad member new member tag for Yeah. Okay. So the issue was there was like no time in between those actions.
Formieren.
Will in Position, Sir.
So as you can see, it's now linked up with me. So yeah, the issue was sometimes those actions require a little bit of time in between. So we let him spawn, then wait a second, and then we add him to our squad. So yeah, that's it. So see you in the next video.